Someone who lives for the contest, does the way in which West Coast cut you up at the stoppages burn at you as well?
Yeah, they did a lot of things that burned at us tonight. I think when we talk about our brand, we're too far off it at the moment. For whatever reason, we've just strayed off of what that is. And, we trained this week to bring it back. I thought, we probably, even though it was a scrappy affair early in the game, I thought we brought the intent and the contest. And then for whatever reason, we dropped right away. We're, at the moment, we're just too far off our best. And our best gets us up there right in the contest and gives us a chance to beat anyone. But we are too far off our best as individuals and as a team. More importantly, as a team, that we're just not quite connecting up at the moment.
Sign of fatigue, or maybe the class finally being exposed by better teams?
That's a hard one for me to answer. We've come off a 9-day break this week. There's no doubt the 2 6-days tested our young group out. We had a great week this week. We trained really well. We had 9 days break into a Sunday. If you talk about the Friday performance of last week compared to the first half this week, you say, right, well, we're in the fight, and we let ourselves down up to half time with execution and, skill level, our ability to finish plays. So really, with respect, we probably came in at half time and felt like we kept them in it. And then the second half, for whatever reason, we were challenged and we dropped away. And that's the most disappointing part for our group at the moment, is the brand that we'd like to be known for and the way we want to play our football isn't there consistently at the moment. Some of the goals that West Coast scored from field stoppages, they just seem to have far too much space to work their way towards the goal. Was that just mistakes on the part of your players knowing where to set up, or did you try something different than when you were sitting so tight on centre clearances? No, and that's when we talk about sort of individual form. It's those key moments where we've got a simple structured game plan that we need to execute that. And there are a couple of back 50 stoppages. In the end, we got scored on heavily from back 50 stoppages, and that's. Whether that's fatigue in the moment, whether that's a lack of concentration, a lack of communication, leaving players free at a back 50 stoppage is something that hasn't changed in the last 30 or 40 years of football. It's just something you don't do. And today, tonight, for whatever reason, we were off in that area. Confidence, form, I can't give you the exact word for it. We're just straying away from what it is we've done well for majority of this year. And that hurts when you sit around post-game as a group, and we've already watched a number of edits from tonight's game that we'd coded during the game that were unacceptable as far as the way we want to play our football. And so we have to get better in that space. As a team, we have to get better in instructing each other in those moments, and as well as individuals. We can't allow for individuals to not play the way the team needs.
Is that the same when I think it was a couple of goals that the Eagles scored where it was out the back of the stoppage and there was nobody kind of in that sweeper role, in the goal square? Is that the same for those scenarios?
That's the exact scenarios we're talking about. They're set plays, they're structure. We're playing against a very good stoppage side who have a dominant ruckman who almost rucks and then gives them another on-baller. We know that coming in. We trained for that and we set structures for that. And today we let ourselves down because we didn't get, I guess, the parts that take no talent, we didn't get those right tonight. We didn't get those right. And you don't need talent. You don't need to be drafted in the AFL draft to an AFL system and be that elite footballer and ball user to stand in a spot where your teammates need you. And that's why at the moment we're all hurting. We're all, we're in there. We let ourselves down. Why is what we need to get to the bottom of. Why we're not doing the things that we're able to do for half this season and really challenge a lot of sides and play some great footy and walk off with your head held up. We didn't do that tonight.
So frustrating. It was all movement last week. Did you play into their hands by giving it to them in the air?
Look, today, as I think we spoke first half, we came in and felt like we were right there. We challenged them using the ball shorter and then trying to energise a little bit and take them on. I thought, we had some opportunities where sometimes you look back and you go, how did we not score in that moment? We put a handball on the deck or, we miss short uncontested ball, a kick that we should be making. But by no means did I feel like the way we looked to play in especially that first half, I think we had the right method with it. We just didn't execute. And in the second half, we unfortunately didn't really go there at all. We wanted to take them on, challenge them by moving that ball off the line and switch it. There were options for us to do so, and we didn't get it done tonight. And again, sometimes the opposition have got too much pressure on you. Unfortunately, tonight I felt like it was more of our execution or lack thereof that cost us.
It's frustrating, particularly you as a coach. You said for whatever reason for a few times that you can't actually go, right, this is the problem, let's concentrate and fix that. That you're not exactly sure of what the issues are, or?
Well, no, we knew what the issues were from last week. We worked on that, trained it. I guess it doesn't turn around just by doing 1 week of a particular part of your game, which we'd lost the week prior. So, maybe it's another week and we'll go to work again and we'll crash in and we'll get back to playing an entertaining brand that people want to come and see. And that's bash and crash, tackle, get in the opposition's face when they're trying to move the ball, be aggressive in our defence. It's the way we've started the season. It's what we wanted our brand to be, and we still want our brand to be. But for whatever reason, it's not there at the moment. That's an intensity that we lasted for maybe a half today and then dropped right away. We prided ourselves now for probably the end of last season, right throughout this first half of this season, on a certain style, and we're not showing it at the moment.
If you can't arrest that slide, you've got games against Hawthorn and North Melbourne coming up. At the end of the season, it's the second win in a row. I mean, how much of a kick in the teeth would be for you and the playing group if that ends up happening again?
We've got to look at next week and we've got to come out and perform. So we put our heads down and go to work now. It's what we've done all year. We go to work to win games of footy and to improve every week. We've had some losses this year where we've come off and we felt like we improved as a team, as a squad. We didn't do that tonight. We'll go into whatever game is next week, and at this point in time, we're not 100% sure on what that looks like, but we'll go in, we'll train to go and win that game of footy. It's not about looking at the premiership ladder at this point. It's about winning games of footy and playing a brand of footy that people want to come and watch and actually enjoy being part of.
Just on that next week, do you want to push on, or do you think we've got so many flares going around the country at the moment, it's best to just stop at the moment, take a time out?
We'd love to continue to play footy. We'd love to continue to push on and play, but we also have a huge respect for the community and the country and so we'll do the right thing. We'll do whatever it takes, and if that means it's a week off, we'll prepare and take the week. And from our point of view at the moment, we've got a fair bit of work to do to find our form, to find that brand we're not seeing at the moment. But I've got a feeling there'll be a fair bit coming, a bit of change and so on. But I don't know the facts at this point.
What's happened with GWS in Sydney? Is there, a tipping point when players are getting ruled out of matches because of isolation? The integrity of the competition, not specifically commenting on that situation, but the bigger picture, is there a tipping point where you just go, that's unfair?
Yeah, and that was not really for me to decide. On the AFL will make the right decision around that. But at the moment, our advice to our staff and our players is to limit any exposure you can. We're extremely lucky in the state of South Australia that we haven't had the cases, touch wood. But our advice to all of our staff and players all the way through has been, look, if you can look after yourself and limit your exposure to large gatherings, to those public events, will do so. And there's also an understanding too of a life balance. So I can probably guess post this, as we get some more information through, we'll be ramping that up a little more even, and just saying, look, at this point it's not that we're in a bubble like we were last year, but let's not take any risks.
Do you feel like you're getting closer to, or have an idea of what the best forward mix looks like at the moment?
Yeah, I think we're working through and we're finding out a fair bit about our young squad. You would have seen the SNFL, Billy Frampton played down back and thought he had an outstanding game there and showed some signs that maybe that's something we could look at going forward. He'd love to have 2 strings to his bow. He'd love to be a player that could switch forward and go back. We managed Riley this week. He was extremely sore last week, pushed through the game for us, which we know he will. He'll just keep going if we let him. But it was one we needed to. He's played 11 games this year. We feel like he's very much part of the future. Getting the more experienced guys back today was, I thought, a positive for us for a half of footy, and then for whatever reason we dropped off right across the board. So again, that's a work on. But yeah, I thought Fogg showed enough again tonight. He was in the sample down at Victor Harbour, was a standout with his power and what he does when he is around the footy. We're going to continue to work with Fogg going forward on being around the footy more. Now, how do we get him near the football more often? Because we know how dangerous he is. He can knock balls through from the boundary line, and when he gets an opportunity in front of goal, but unfortunately we need him to have the ball more than 6 times a game. And it's not all about Fogg either. That's about us playing as a team. So when we talk about us being off and not at our best, sometimes when the team's not at their best, individuals can struggle as well. And we're trying to work out at the moment what it is. If it's the individuals that are triggering it, or whether maybe we just need to improve our connection again.
Yeah, just on Darcy, he kicks that amazing goal, and everyone on the commentary, everyone half time's going, why isn't he playing every week? Why isn't he doing this more often? And then you have the kind of the second half with maybe 2-3 touches of the ball. Is that the kind of where he's the good and the bad, I guess, in a way of him in games? Well, the good and that needs to be improved. So.
Well, the RFI is being involved in impacting the game more often. And he's working on that, to his credit. He's put his head down and gone to work. It's hard because there's going to be a really important time for Fogg over this off-season break. And that's about being able to get his fitness to a point where he is able to play a full game right through and work his way into the game and impact the game more consistently. We'll keep working with him on that. There's a lot of players in the league that are in the same boat, and there are a lot of players that have improved out of sight after going away and doing that at other clubs. And we're seeing him now as premier players in the game. And Fogg's got some attributes that are quite exciting when you see him in the TV screen. He's a big, strong lad. He's powerful. He's very skillful. He makes great decisions. So we'll do what we can to get him in the TV screen a little bit more.
And did you like what you saw with Tom Lynch tonight in his return?
Yeah, Lynchy last week in the sample, he showed us a couple of games to get himself right, and he adds something a little bit in an area we're missing, which is he's an elite ball user. He's a good decision maker. A couple of things tonight, he was a tiny bit rusty, but first game back, I think he's going to add to that group. And more importantly than that, he's going to help a lot of these guys like Rowe and Murphy and Sam Berry, playing alongside Tom. He's able to lead on field. Unfortunately today we didn't quite get that to the level either. So we've got some work around our on-field communication and getting things right. You guys pointed out there's structures, stoppages where we missed it. But coming back, I thought Tom Lynch was okay tonight, and especially early in the first half.
How do you think Royce Lane went tonight? I guess a couple of questions maybe about his form in recent weeks, how much he's able to get the ball. He seemed, especially in the first half, was able to get his hands on the footy a fair bit more.
Yeah, and when we went in with that as a focus, let the captain lead. He played a little bit more on ball this week than he did last week. Thought he enjoys getting in there and getting his hands dirty, but we'll continue to look at that midfield. It's a long year. We've led his sort of bashed and crashed with Keys in there for a lot of the year, as has Sloaney. So we've got to look at how we add some speed and some dynamic, freshness to that group. We looked at Berry at times tonight. He's definitely going to be part of the future for us, an important part as he grows as a player. But I thought Sloaney, again, similar to the team, I thought Sloaney showed some stuff in the first half, and then unfortunately as we went on, when the team doesn't perform, sometimes the individuals struggle as well. So I think we're going to go away and lick our wounds a bit and work on being more consistent.
I know he's a proud guy and loves to fight, loves to compete. Is there a time where you maybe go with his finger injury at some point, pull him early and send him in for surgery? Is there a point where it becomes that looking to future years rather than this season?
Yeah, look, as far as my understanding, again, no medical background. My understanding is from this point now, for Sloaney to play 5 more games, it won't make that much difference to the operation. 5 weeks compared to going in now or going in 2 weeks' time. Really what he had to do on that, the decision was made around if he could get him within a week or 2 of the injury happening, he had probably better chance of getting it back as close to 100% as he could. So right now he'll want to see the season out. He's very keen to lead this group and help them improve. So I'm pretty sure you'll see Sloaney for the rest of the year.
How's Murray at the moment? It looked like the potential to be a really nasty fall at one point.
Yeah, so suspected concussion is where he sits at the moment. Normally when someone sits in that space, the risk is just not taken, but we'll see how he pulls up. Unfortunately, that caused us to have to activate the sub. And that sort of stretched us a little behind the ball then from a size point of view. But
So in that situation, you just go suspect a concussion, don't even worry about a test, take them out of the game and see how they respond over the next couple of days.
yeah, see how he recovers and responds, and he's recovered well. He's up and about in the rooms and he's feeling pretty good, but there's no risk taken with that. Anytime someone takes a hit, I mean, it comes off a pack like he did, there's no risk taken, which I think is the right move by our medical staff. They made the right call there. We don't want to risk a player in that situation.
I'll just quickly check how Matt Crouch pulled up today. Have you spoken to him, or how did he report back?
I have, yeah. Matt's pulled up well, so that was a good sign. He worked through limited game time at Samford, more than likely to play another one, and he'll look to get up to full game time at an SANFL level, and then he'll be an important part of that experience coming back. And I mentioned it before how some of our mids have worked really hard this year in there right throughout the whole year. So Matt will be, hopefully everything goes well and he recovers through this week, gets another training session in Thursday, and then I think we've got Nord in the SANFL this week, so he'll play in that game. And hopefully we can then maybe look at getting him back the week after.
How much did he play yesterday?
We played the 4 quarters, but we limited his game time in that, so he came off twice a quarter. We are looking at around about 60% game time for him. He played in the big mud heap in the middle too, probably tested him out. So that was good to see him after the game, and he felt like the body felt pretty good. Now he'll just look to start to find the speed of the game and get a full game in, or at least up around 80, 90%.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.